Hello, welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 344. This is the show that we bring computer techs on to talk about their business, little tips and tricks from everybody out there in our little community of Podnutz. We get a lot of different people in here. Usually it's a different person every week. This week, though, we're actually following up from last week's show with Ralph McNabb. He's got so much information he wants to share with us, and I didn't have all of his notes last week, kind of my fault. So anyway, here we are back to finish up or get farther in his notes from last week. And if you missed last week's show, we talked a lot about his managed services job that he does, and then also about documentation and how to keep good notes on everything you're doing in your computer repairs. And today we're going to take it from there and get into some more tips and tricks that Ralph's got for us. So how you doing today, Ralph?
Oh, not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, staying really busy. You too?
Yeah. Been very busy. I've had a very busy past 3 days, that's for sure.
Cool.
Um,
That's good.
Actually, it's been all on-site work for me in the past 3 days, and I've had a long schedule each day. So
Stuff that
definitely. Sorry, go
a lot
ahead.
of no, a lot of stuff that you're used to doing on site or new kind of things that you're into.
Um, a lot of the same from before. Staying pretty consistent, but the past 3 days especially have been very, very tightly packed, and I've had just long schedules, so it's
Yeah.
a little bit more heavily loaded than normal, but not too bad overall.
We're sure you can handle it. You
Uh,
if they didn't think it was in good hands, they wouldn't have had you doing all that. So
I hope so.
so Ralph, what do you got tonight for us? I think we're going to start on number two of your notes here, future proofing.
Yes, actually,
Okay.
it's taking a little bit of a different direction from the documentation that we talked about. However, future proofing is definitely one of the more important topics, I think. Um, to start off, uh, I would say that, and one of the texts a few weeks ago, or well, several weeks ago now, had mentioned about his use of tablets, and I think that's a really big point nowadays. Is just familiarizing yourself with the tablets that are out there, their benefits, pros, cons of each, how you can utilize each within your business or even for yourself. Uh, there's so much that tablets can do nowadays that can definitely help you make your business more efficient and make yourself more efficient. But even just in supporting them, you can make a ton just you know training and troubleshooting when end users have problems. More and more people nowadays are getting tablets just whether it be a secondary device or maybe it's their third device. If they have a desktop and a laptop as well, but a lot of people are using them to replace laptops. And if they're just browsing Facebook or they're browsing the web, it's a real great tool for them, checking their email and whatnot. But more and more people are getting them now that it could potentially be a whole nother market for every computer technician out there to be supporting and troubleshooting these devices, even with repair. I mean, their iPod and iPad repair is huge right now, and there are those out there that are definitely capitalizing on there and making a killing. Because there's not a whole lot of people that offer that kind of service right now, and it would definitely be to everyone's advantage to try and hop on that as soon as possible. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah. I just to go back a little bit. Do you use a tablet at work, or do you own a tablet?
I'm actually in the market.
Cool.
I'm kind of swinging back and forth between getting an iPad and an Android tablet. I'm kind of waiting for more of the more powerful tablets coming out. I know Asus just came out with their new transformer that's a quad core actually, and it looks like a pretty nice device. But I'm gonna try and wait until the price comes down a little bit to pick
Yeah.
one of those up.
The iPad 3 is just around the corner too. It's
Yeah,
hard to, yeah,
yeah.
so see what happens there. I plan in my shop to sell iPad 3s when they come out.
Oh, that'd be great.
I perfect I like I have a Asus Transformer, the original one myself, and I'll say
Mhm.
I like it, and I do find myself using it for work a lot. Mostly what I use it for is taking service manuals on site with me in a PDF
Mhm.
format and just
Yep.
going through that way, and it really works really well. And they're very portable. I'll sit there and I'll take some notes when I'm working on it in a note program.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe I don't go back to them as much as I should, but they're there now, you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. And then iPad repair, I believe, yeah, we're gonna have to be starting to look into that for sure.
Well, I mean, as a continuation to what you were saying about using it on site, for those that actually do provide business support, the tablets, both Android and the iPad, offer a lot of great apps out there for network management, network monitoring, remote access to servers, and remote access to workstations. So it makes it very, very easy to be a tech on the go, actually supporting anywhere from consumers to business users. And with the 3G tablets that they have nowadays, you don't get a lot of data, but the couple times a month that you might use it, or even a couple times a week that you might use it to support somebody remotely, it's definitely worth the cost. But yeah, I mean, there's so much to be said about that. I don't know. We could, just between the Android app addicts, I'm sure they've probably got more than enough to talk about on there, just as far as networking apps and whatnot. But
Yeah, I know Doors brought up a few of them, networking apps and things
mhm.
before. But Steve, I'll speak for Steve. Steve and I are just gonna sit there and we're gonna be like, what's he? I don't know what all these numbers are, but it looks good to him, and he knows what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did actually just this week get my first call on a tech support for I don't know if you call it a tablet, is some sort of a, well, it was an Android device, a pan digital e-reader of some sort. Lady
Okay.
called up and she said it was locked up. It wouldn't do nothing, you know. And like an Android phone, you could pull the battery. Well, there's no way to get to the battery in this device. So
Mhm.
I just told her, volume up and the power button at the same time. Just give that a try. And she
Yeah.
did, and that fixed it. So I'm like, oh, yeah, rebooted. So I figured, that's just an easy tip. If your tablet's locked up, you can always try that first and see what happens. That seems like to be the general reset if there's no
Yeah.
reset button on it.
Yep. Yep. And kind of turning directions a little bit, but staying within the future proofing topic. I mentioned a little bit about server and network support. Um, if you don't already, definitely look into supporting servers and Cisco networks. It's there's so much of it out there, and if you really want to have a stable business and you're looking to get into maintenance contracts and whatnot, that's that's a clear way to go. Um, you know, Servers really allow you to charge a premium for your services, just because there's not a whole lot of people that are able to support it outside of everyday systems admins that have a full time job working at a major corporation or an enterprise. Um, Everybody's trying to get certifications, but not everybody that's out there trying to get certifications really knows what they're doing. So if you have the knowledge and you have the skills, definitely look into it. Um,
Is there a way that you could learn to do that without getting certification? Is that something you could just, load SQL, some kind of server on a couple extra computers you have and fumble through it?
well,
Or
I mean, yes and no. There's certain topics that you can learn out just by testing it out, looking at some of the information that they have on TechNet. You do have to have a basic understanding of the server operating system, about networking and whatnot. But there's tons of great books out there that you can check out just to learn the basics. But even if you don't necessarily want to spend the money or shell out the money for the exams, you can pick up the books for some of the certifications. If you want to learn a lot of the basic networking principles, pick up a book about the CompTIA Network Plus certification. Um, you can pick up. Trying to think. Well, I mean, there's all kinds of books out there as far as the MCSE is concerned. Now the MCITP, which is the newer version of that certification, it's moving more towards a systems admin and an enterprise administrator certification. But just see if you can find the topics online. Do a lot of reading. Maybe join a forum that has a lot to do with networking. Experts Exchange has tons of information about networking. If you end up that you can purchase a device just to play around with, let's say you want to learn some Cisco networking, so you pick up a Cisco Pix firewall that's a little outdated, but it has a current iOS, and you can hook it up and play with it a little bit. You can always look at Cisco's website. They have guides, how-to guides that actually walk you through configuring these devices from A to Z, and they have all kinds of they have lists of their commands online. If you want to find a basic firewall configuration, they have a complete configuration that you can find on their website. So I mean, the information is out there. You just have to find it. But if for those of you that are looking to get certified, I would definitely at least look to get your MCP in Windows 7 or Windows Server or something beneficial, anyways. And for those of you that are interested in networking, I would look into any kind of CCNA programs that you can find for Cisco networking. CCNP is really the higher level past the CCNA, but they also offer CCNA security, which is a more in-depth CCNA course that has a more specific focus. But CCNA to start is a good place, because there's, even if you want to do more than just your on the side computer network or computer technician work, or maybe you're looking to partner up with somebody in another business. The CCNA is great. I mean, the knowledge that you get from it is good enough to get you into the iOS. It teaches you how to be familiar with the iOS. It's basically most of the devices you can go either through a command line or a GUI now. And the GUI is more popular with I think some of the beginners, just because it's very easy to visualize things and troubleshoot and whatnot. But I think most of the diehards will tend to stick to the command line interface, and it's preference, really, just personal preference. But
do you think if you learn your Cisco and your Microsoft, well, you think that's going to translate over for say you get on site or a customer of yours has Linux, you're going to get your foundation and those kind of things. You're not going to be surprised by a whole lot what you see once you learn that side. Do you think?
Well, Linux is a totally different world. I don't actually deal a lot with Linux with the clients that we have. In fact, you had mentioned last week about a client that had an old box that was just stored away in a closet. Well,
Right.
we had a client that had something similar, where they had previously had somebody else supporting them, and whoever it was just a diehard Linux fan, and they insisted on using a Linux server for I forget